Hey guys, happy Sunday evening. Hope all is well in your world. We're doing pretty good over here. We got the split today, so that's good. Wasn't a complete wash for us. 76ers let us down, but the Clippers came through. So we'll take it, and we'll move on to tomorrow's games and keep our fingers crossed for that. So I want to do a series preview video here for the Utah Jazz versus the Los Angeles Clippers. This is going to be a very, very interesting matchup between two teams that, honestly, we ended up picking the Clippers in the end, but in the beginning of the Clippers-Mavs series, we thought the Mavs would win. So I was kind of thinking the Mavs and Jazz, but so now it's going to be the Clippers-Jazz. So this is going to be an interesting series because the Jazz are favored in this series, which surprises me, honestly, because I believe the Los Angeles Clippers are better. When I look at them across the board, if they don't clip like they do, they're the better team. And when you look at the matchups across the board, really the only advantage that I see the Jazz really have, well, they really have two advantages. They got Rudy Gobert, and then, of course, Donovan Mitchell at the point guard spot. Obviously, the Clippers don't have a point guard that explosive, anywhere near that explosive. And then, of course, they got Mike Conley also that is kind of like the point guard. I guess Mitchell is more of a shooting guard type than a point guard. So it's kind of a cross matchup between Paul George and him, and then, of course, you put Kawhi Leonard in that mix. I'm not really sure who he will guard. He'll probably guard Donovan Mitchell, and I'd say Paul George probably guards Mike Conley if they're smart. But when I look at this series, I really feel like the Clippers are just better, and I think this is a really bad matchup for the Utah Jazz. I think it's a great opportunity to take advantage of some odds that are probably a little bit out of whack here. I think the Clippers being underdogs in this series is a little crazy, and especially considering how much of an underdog they really are here. You can look at the game one point spread and see that, but I'll go over that here in a little bit in the next video. But I just don't think the Jazz have an answer for Kawhi Leonard the way he's playing right now. I think they found themselves. I think this Mavs series, now that they've survived it, now that they have shown the gumption, the heart to come back when they're down and battle through things, and they showed some defensive prowess that we all knew they had, the whole time. And that's what, again, is extremely frustrating about this Clippers team, is that when they decide, they can lock you down. And I think they're going to do just that with the Jazz. I don't think they're going to necessarily completely lock them down per se, because the Jazz have a lot of weapons and they got a lot of shooters around. But I do think they will be able to slow them down enough and score enough on the other end to be able to take advantage of the Jazz. One thing that concerns me about the Jazz is on the defensive end, which is really surprising, because when you look at this team, that's where you would think that the strength would be, being that they have probably the defensive player of the year in Rudy Gobert on that side, and others. They have a defensive reputation, but Memphis was able to take advantage of them. And Memphis certainly scored a ton of points on the Utah Jazz, which really surprised me in that series a lot. I thought they'd be able to hold down the Memphis Grizzlies, because let's just face it, they are pretty pedestrian on offense. They're not super explosive. Ja Morant had some huge breakout games that were really uncharacteristic of him all season. That's a team that, they got a bunch of guys that scored 10, 15 points. And that's not what the Clippers have. The Clippers have explosion. They got shooting. They're the number one ranked team from the three-point range in the NBA by percentage. They shoot it well. They do a lot of things well. It's going to be hard for the Utah Jazz to stop them. I see this series going 6 games, but I think LA ends it in 6 and gets the victory and moves on to the Western Conference Finals. So that's what I got, guys. Let me know what you think about this. I'm sure that'll bring some controversy. I'll be interested to see what your thoughts are. Thanks so much for all your support. I'm going to drop one more video about this series. I'm going to drop the Game 1 video here in just a minute. So thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Have a good one.